You know, I backed into the publishing business by growing up in the printing business, and always was around horses and that kind of stuff as a kid. And when I went to high school in Fort Worth, well, I went to a vocational high school, and for some reason when I was real young, we lived in a small town in Texas, and I hung out at the newspaper back in the old days with the big flatbed presses and all that in the late 40s. And I just was kind of fascinated with printing, and that kind of moved me toward this vocational high school where you could learn graphic arts, or printing as they called it then. And I became a journeyman printer before I was 18 years old. I graduated from TCU in '66 and then spent 4 years in the Navy. And when I came back out of the Navy, I was going to go to law school at the University of Texas. And I stopped into the press club in Fort Worth one day to have a beer, and ended up drinking a beer with Benny Scott, the guy that owned the quarter racing record. I wasn't going to go to law school or whatever I was going to do for another year or so, and Benny convinced me to come into work for him. Well, that was in 1971. I showed up at the 1972 All-American Fraternity, and I haven't missed one since. I served in the Navy for approximately 3 years, 8 months, 26 days, and 4 hours, keeping the Viet Cong out of Tidewater, Virginia. And when I got back, I went to work for the Record, and 2 years later, Mac Adams, who had graduated from TCU, went to work at the Record, and we worked there together for 2 years. And we saw how much money we thought Benny Scott was making and how easy it appeared to be. And so in the summer of 1975, we jumped off and started Track Magazine. And we were the first guys to ever really come and take pictures of Ruidoso Downs and put them on the cover of the magazine. Our first two covers were pictures from Ruidoso. In September 1975, we had Aubrey Stokes filly that won the Rainbow, a chick called Sue. That name was mispronounced so many times that I have a hard time remembering. And then Bugs Live in '75, we had the All-American Trophy on the second cover, and we knew we were smarter than everybody else. You know, and we also knew we were broker than everybody else that was publishing, and we thought that we could work harder, and we did some things differently, like taking all the big pictures and getting out and saying things that other publications at that time were not saying, and we had some assurances from some of the bigger farms and all that we would get their business advertising wise, and I really were pleased that Jerry and I surveyed the market correctly, and within 18 months we were the biggest publication in the business. I don't think we ever dodged an issue. I remember, and I can't tell you what year it was, but it was about 83 or 84. You know, we jumped out and put a picture of a machine on the cover of the magazine. And the person who was then in charge of Ruidoso Downs got really incensed, and he called it, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Do you not deny that those exist?" He said, "Well, no." You know, and we did some things like that, and we did the elephant juice story and some things like that. And the first big controversial deal we got into was the AQHA White Rule deal. And we jumped right in the middle of that and went to a stud book open meeting in Amarillo, and had the AQHA president call me on the carpet and want to know, "Who are you and what are you doing in this meeting?" You know, and get that camera out of here. And those were fun times, and we were young guys, and I will admit I may have written some things then that I might not write today, but it was fun, and I think it was good for the business, and it was certainly good for our business at the time. You know, in '98 we created the Monday Report deal, which is a weekly deal that we sent out on what in '98 was a newfangled fax machine deal, and then moved on over into the internet a few years ago, and that has helped us a whole lot, and I think it's helped the industry a whole lot, and the people. I mean, it's changed my whole circle of friends. You know, I've got guys from, you know, that we've been friends with, gone to races with for 40 years. You know, and you get to see those people. You know, you go to the same cafes in the same towns, and get up and, 5 o'clock in the morning, come to the racetrack and go to the track kitchen and all, and it's the best, and I luckily teamed up with a good gal about 15 years ago, and she's as nuts about it as I am, maybe more so. She folds out every mare we have, and she supervises the breeding of every mare we have, and loves to take pictures of the racetracks and do everything else, and it's never misses a sale, and it's it's a great family event. But you don't have to be a family guy, but it's a great family event. Why would you retire? Why would you quit? Not that we're making any tremendous amount of money, but I still, I enjoy doing it. I'm going to go to these places, see these people do these things anyway. We're at the little reception for Dan Fick, and I gave him a little present and all, and visited with him. He says, "I want you to be a director of the Racetrack Chaplaincy of America." And I said, "Ain't no way. No way." I said, I just had this conversation on the way up with Christine. I said, "I am through serving on the board of anything." I said, "I don't want to drive anywhere, don't want to fly anywhere, no more meetings, no more conventions. I'm done. AQHA's putting me out to pasture, and that's a good deal." So anyway, I go back up to the room when we get through that little party, and I told Christine, I said, "Fick asked me to serve on the racetrack chaplaincy deal." And she said, "And you're not going to do it?" I said, "I'm not going to do it." She says, "What else has God asked you to do lately?" And I said, "Well, and so anyway, I went back downstairs and told Dan that I would do that. That's been that's been probably the most rewarding thing that has happened to me in my involvement with horses. It's the racetrack chaplaincy is a tremendous deal. What D. Hubbard and Joan Dale Hubbard have done here at Ruidoso really got me started in the deal, and go to church over here. Try to every time we're here. Sometimes, it doesn't work out time-wise for us and all, but it's a great deal. Throughout the country, the racetrack chaplaincy is one of the best deals going. It's been a journey. I mean, the whole thing has been a journey. The spiritual side, the last 10 years, has been something that I absolutely never would have expected will happen. And it's a neat deal, and there's so many tremendous people involved in that. And through the years, guys that and I hate to mention any names, but guys like the Ralph Shabesters and the Aubrey Stokes and the John Mays and the B.F. Phillips and the Dr. Allreds and the Swanavelts and just the Sleepy Gilberts and just all those guys over the years that have become, the Cassios and all that stuff, and the Wayne Lucases. It's just amazing. It's amazing to me. Guys like Charlie Graham, who advertised in our first issue, and they continue to advertise today. Leonard Block's the same way. Who would have thought that a little old guy from the south side of Fort Worth like me, I don't guess I was a little guy, but a little man in many ways, would know the guys that won 2 Kentucky Derbies in the Scarborough family and Leonard Block. Golly. I play golf in Ruidoso with horsemen I've been playing golf with for 35 years, and you don't have those kind of friendships, and all, and guys that I have that are in other businesses said, "I just can't believe how y'all do this stuff." And I said, "Well, it's nuts. I still jump in the car and drive 7 hours to see a horse race 20 seconds. And enjoy doing it, and I'm 68 years old now, and I'm going to do it as long as I can."